Live again, another beautiful day. I love being live. It's special. It is special. Today is November 14th, 2017. And as always, on the Inspirational Nomad channel, I'm Sam. What I like to do is structure the live events on a specific topic for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then after that, we'll get into a question and feedback from people who join the live chat and who add comments and give them time to voice their opinion and voice their perspective. And then we go from there. Um, I have been taking different requests for people who ask to talk about specific topics because I do daily live events. Sunday through Tuesday, it's 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard U.S. time. And Wednesday through Saturday, it is 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So today, one of my viewers, great viewer from the UK, Southampton, to be specific, in the United Kingdom, named Shay. She asked me to do a topic. She left a comment on one of my videos. Hey, Linda, how are you? And she asked, I'm going to get into everyone's comments in a minute. I just want to start the live event on a structure, on a topic, and then after the first 15 minutes, we'll get into the Q&A on it. But Shay from the UK, who has great life experience, Sarah, how you doing, beautiful? She asked me to do a specific live feed on technology. Does it connect us, or does it actually serve the opposite purpose? Do we have colder and more isolated relationships? So I'm going to give my perspective on it. Then, as always, which makes these live feeds special, we're going to share. I'm going to give you an opportunity to voice your opinion, to share your perspective, because that's what this is. This is a group community type conversation. It's not me bullying my perspective. I realize that I have the microphone, but that's why after I give my initial opinion on it, I try to open it up to everybody and let them share. So to answer Shay's question, from my opinion, from my perspective, everyone has their own, is does technology hurt or help us? Does it connect us more, or does it isolate us more? In my opinion, it helps society and it connects us more. Dating all the way back to the phone, when the phone was first invented, the basic phone, not the cell phone, but just a basic household phone, it allowed you to connect with relatives, with business people, etc., from all over. Before that, it wasn't Instagram, it was telegrams. You would have to have a carrier deliver a handwritten note to wherever it would be. And it would take days, weeks, months for you to get that communication to them. So the quicker you can communicate, the more you can build a relationship. So the more relationships you can build, the greater the education and the greater the understanding society can have. Example, I am making this topic today based on a comment left on one of my videos from a different part of the world. Shay from the UK, if there was no technology, if there was no YouTube, I would never know Shay. Okay, so Shay is a woman who at one time lived on a boat. Now she lives on her family's property. She's done many things with her life. She's shared many different perspectives. She's been married to a Native American man. She has different insights spiritually. So without that connection, I wouldn't have her perspective. And that's what a group, that's what a community, that's what a diverse mindset and a diverse society needs, is different perspectives sharing in a healthy way, and being interconnected helps us to do that. That's one aspect of it. From my basic life standpoint, once I was able to Skype, and when I first started doing it, was a application called Uvu. It was like a Skype program, and it helped me when I was working at different parts of the state and inside the city. I didn't see my mother that often because I was working a lot. I was able to Skype her basically. And just seeing her face, just communicating, was helpful. And it kept us connected. It kept us growing our relationship. When I had a dog, I had a digital monitor, like almost a baby cam, but that camera was pointed at my dog. That helped me tremendously relieve my anxiety by just seeing my dog, knowing that she was okay, etc. And many people now that have babies, they have the baby cam. They're working, or I even know a guy at work that he has a child, and is like pre-kindergarten, and the pre-kindergarten has live webcams. So at any time, he can look on his phone or in his computer, and he can see live streaming of that daycare center. So he can check up on his child. So sure, that's helpful. Sure, that's beneficial. Is there harm to technology? Sure. Any great resource can be abused, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's a live stream, or whether it's the Bible. For many years, the Bible, the written word in an old physical book that you would blow dust off of, many people used that old technology. That was really the first technology, was writing the spoken word down and documenting your thoughts. That was really the first interconnection. Before that, it was just what they call like wise tales or old tales, where you would sit down at the end of the night, you would share with people, and then that story would get passed on from generation to generation. So the first piece of technology was the written word. You know, let's not just share these words verbally, let's document them through writing. And then once that carried on, of course, education and information and a bond was formed through the written word. And then, like I said, then obviously we got to the telephone. And then now we're in a technology era where we're all interconnected throughout the entire world. And the more you share, the more you connect, the more you learn, the different perspectives you get, the healthier your mind will be, the healthier society will be, and the greater flexibility you have. Technology allows you now to be a nomad, and so I've met people from the West Coast, from Southern region, from UK, from Pakistan, from Mexico, from Canada, in just really 3 months of starting this channel. But even before that, on different social media, I've met people all over the world. That's special. Where is it harmful? It's harmful to the extent that you always will have to make a mental note that nothing can replace a physical presence. Okay? In the technology field that I work, in information technology, there could be many weeks that I'm not on site. When I go on, there's certain times you need to be on site. And you can't let it go too long without a period of time where you're physically there, because nothing will replace a physical presence, especially if you're in a management role, a leadership role, etc. So if you're in charge of something, yes, you can delegate, yes, you can stream, yes, you can do conference calls, but there's no replacement for physical presence, whether it's job related or whether it's family related. I mean, yes, you can Skype, yes, you can connect with people via text message, via WhatsApp, via Instagram, etc. But if you go long periods of time without any physical presence, that relationship will only have a certain dimension, and that's a virtual dimension. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in one sense, for the elite relationships that you have in your life, the highest of intimate level, there needs to be a level of physical presence. I mean, even though it's nice to live stream and uvu with my mother, or even when I watch my dog, there's no replacement for coming home at the end of the day and hugging my dog, or kissing my mother on a cheek, or holding her hand, etc. I mean, you can make any example you want in any type of relationship. Just like there's no replacement for, if you are a manager and you haven't been on site for three weeks, there's no replacement for you walking physically in that building, and you get a sense of what's going on, you get a sense of the morale, and then you can better manage it. Physical presence is needed. So technology is good, it's helpful, it's beneficial, we have to go forward. You don't want to fight that, because it's not wisdom. Just like it's not wisdom to fight, it wasn't wisdom to fight when cars replaced horses, okay? It allowed society to grow. But you have to be mindful that there's no replacement for physical presence. And when you are in someone's physical presence, you have to disconnect from the virtual dimension. Because even me, I find myself, like, I'm checking my phone. I mean, I got a million different alerts going off all day, whether it's work, whether it's social media. So, the past day I spent time with my mom, so I had to be mindful that I discipline myself, that I don't disconnect from my physical presence, and now I'm solely in the virtual dimension. Then the final thing, then we're going to open up, because I know I missed some comments, and I respect and thank you for the comments. By you guys being bold enough to write and to document your thoughts and to share this in the live stream, that helps us all, myself included. And this live stream, like I've shared in other ones, helps me have some type of social interactive based on my personality, which is, you guys know, I don't like a lot of relationships as far as, you know what I mean? I like the virtual aspect of them to a certain extent. So one of the final things I'm going to share on, and I'm open up, was Shay shared, well, it's good, the live streams. I love them. We hear you talk, we read the comments, and we can read your body language, but she felt like there was still a disconnect. And that's true, because at the end of, my opening, perspective, I open it up and then we just freestyle from there. And I read each comment and I let each person voice their perspective. But there is no replacement for you having the mic yourself. So you're not able to fully express yourself as much as I am. Okay, so I'm able to, articulate through the verbal word, through my body language, and through my eye contact. You have to just write them down on the live stream. So one suggestion I would add to Shay or to anyone else is, there will come a time where, to enhance that virtual aspect of it, you may need to have your own YouTube channel. Why do I say that? Because it is a level of therapy, okay? And to have that center stage, to speak to the issues, etc. If I am doing my job is not so 5 years from now, everyone still joins this live feed and we're all in the same place. I would like to be selfish, and I would like to keep everyone hanging by the hook, but that's not leadership and that's not wisdom. If I am doing my job, you are going to get inspired enough to keep yourself inspired, and then you're going to go out there and you're going to carve your own path. Any leader or any person of inspiration or motivation that their game is to keep you at their beck and call and in their live streams and in their life forever is not a leader, is not a motivator, is not an inspiration. The job of someone that may inspire you is so that you figure out how to inspire yourself, and then you leave. You go out and you do your own thing. But many times that doesn't happen because people are selfish and because people want the donation plate coming around for the rest of their life. There's no donation plate here. There's no emotional manipulation. My job is to get you to the point where you have enough confidence to leave and to go out and to carve your own space. Yes, we still can always be connected, but you get what I'm saying. My message is that I want people to grow and go forward, not to need me or need anyone to keep them inspired or to keep them going forward. I want to build you up so you can build yourself up and then pass that along. I want you to pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I wanted to share. Shay, thank you for this suggestion. We're going to get ready to get into the live comments. And thank you, everyone. It's Miss Kimberly. A couple other people left suggestions for live streams. I do them every day. So please, if you have a suggestion, you can leave a comment on any one of my videos and say, look, Sam, a suggestion for the live feed, a topic will be this and this and that. And then we'll spend the first 15, 20 minutes, half hour on that. And it'll be themed around that. But then, like I'm about to do now, we're going to open it up. We're going to see how people's days are going, and then we're just going to chop it up. All right? So let's get into it because I missed a few things. First, Linda on the check-in. Love and respect to you, Linda. I hope you're having a good day down in Florida. And let me see here. Sarah, feeling inspired and powerful today. Love to everyone joining. A lot of good emojis. Yes, Sarah's pushing forward. That's what I like to hear. Linda, topics. Well, I have many. Good. Linda, what do you got? Kids with parents. That's a powerful topic. Annex is an X for a reason. Tech hurts in so many ways. Laugh out loud. An X is an X for a reason. Well, I agree with that. I mean, sometimes so many people ask, I'm just removing a window cover because I want to get some light in here. Sometimes people ask me, like, why I go from talking about living out of my car to talking about our relationships a lot, especially since I'm a person who doesn't want marriage, don't want kids. Why do I talk about relationships, though? Relationships are one of the biggest part of your life. The biggest part of business is relationships. The biggest part of personal life is relationships. It doesn't mean you have to be married, doesn't mean you have to have kids, but you have to know how to have boundaries, you have to know how to communicate your feelings, and then you have to know how to say no. So that's all part of relationship building, and that's part of living a good life. So good point, Linda. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. Hey, on the check-in. How are you? You up to 13,000 followers yet on Instagram? If anybody wants to follow, it's Miss Kimberly on Instagram. She does a lot of things with her. I'm letting some light in because it was getting dark with the window covers on. She does a lot of things with like makeup and stuff. I mean, you throw Kim Kardashian and I think I think Kylie Kardashian. I think her lipstick line she has a line of makeup that's centered around lipstick. Now the marketing is real cool where the lips like bleed, but I think it's a scam. Why is it a scam? Because she has lip injections. She has got a lot of plastic surgery. She doesn't look anything like she used to look. Am I against that? No. But they sell lipstick. So does Kim Kardashian now. Why do they sell makeup? Because makeup has a huge profit margin. Okay. And let me tell you something. Unless you get plastic surgery like them, unless you have surgery, you're never going to look like them. And so they sell it to some person who is totally not ever going to look like them. And it's like, I don't know. I feel it's like a scam, but that's part of their motto, in my opinion. Okay. That being said, it's Miss Kimberly. You better start your own. Product line because I think you would do better than them. Linda, this all feels good for now. Just saying. I hear you. Linda, you are at born in Jersey guy? Yes. So born and raised in New Jersey. I was born in a hospital in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and then I was raised in a town called Edison, New Jersey. So that's the bulk of my life is really in Edison, but I'm giving you perspective, which is north central Jersey. Okay. Linda R. Yep. Learning to say no takes time. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Yeah, learning no takes time. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It takes confidence and it takes it takes you not replaying a conversation, but you have to learn how to identify emotional manipulation and you have to learn too how to be alone a little bit. Okay. Because a lot of people won't say no because they don't want to be alone and they say they want to be alone. And then when they're left alone for one night, they go crazy. So human nature is that we want the best of both worlds. You have to learn. It doesn't have to be you're alone as much as me or anybody else, but you do have to learn to be alone a little bit. You have to learn to enjoy your own company. You have to learn to sleep at night without a warm body next to you, okay? Because if you need a warm body next to you to be happy, you're going to end up with an asshole sleeping right next to you, okay? And let me tell you something. It's easy to get into relationships, hard to get out. Hard to get out. The hardest thing you will ever have to do in life is exit a relationship. It's like literally ripping the claws, ripping the roots out of your body. Exiting a relationship is very hard. So, and a lot of times people just get in relationships. Why? They don't want to be alone. So you got to be careful. I did that. It's Miss Kimberly. You're right. It's Miss Kimberly was in a relationship for 4 years back and forth. She shared a lot. Beautiful girl as well. Just like Linda, just like Shay. But it's tough. I mean, a lot of times too, people think, well, oh, this person's beautiful or they look good or they're in good shape or whatever, that they don't struggle. So it doesn't matter. I've learned that too in life. It doesn't matter if you look beautiful. It doesn't matter if you're overweight and you don't feel beautiful. Everyone struggles with that. Okay. And so, you have to really be fair too. A lot of times people say, well, oh, if I was beautiful and wealthy, I wouldn't have problems. Not true. Okay. Because Kim Kardashian's been divorced 3 times. Okay. Jennifer Lopez, I think, been divorced 3 times. Okay. And Halle Berry, divorced. You can go down a list of beautiful, wealthy, famous, talented, blessed people that can't hold a long-term relationship. So don't get seduced into thinking if you were this person, you would be happy. That steals days off your life. Not good. It was hard for me to get out. I hear that, it's Miss Kimberly. It's been hard for all of us. I think everyone can relate to that. I really do. I wanted to leave 2 years before I actually did. I can understand that. It's tough. It's tough to put finality into a relationship. It's tough to say we're over for good because there's separation anxiety. You think separation anxiety is only for dogs or only for animals? You have separation anxiety the first 2 hours. When you go to Thanksgiving next week, when people go on to the Thanksgiving, if you visit family members or friends, once you leave that house, you may have separation anxiety. When you kiss, somebody may be getting on your last nerve and you can't wait till they leave your house. Then they leave your house and you have separation anxiety. You have to learn to discipline the emotion. You're going to want to be alone, and then you say, no, we're done, or no, leave. And then they leave, and then you're going to say, oh shit, I'm alone. And that's how that cycle feeds off each other. And then before you know it, you're texting them back, you're saying, come back over, or you see them the next night. So, you know, understanding human nature and letting that emotional wave pass, that emotional wave of sadness. I remember, when I had some girls over, this was probably in my mid 20s, and they were leaving, and in one sense, they were over for a few days. I said, man, I can't wait till they get the hell out of here. And then they left, and then I remember walking them out, and then when they walked out, I remember sitting on my steps. I said, oh shit, now I feel alone. And so I share that to share. I've been through that, and so it's that interesting human dynamic that we have to be mindful of. Dana, hey Dana, how are you? I got out and never looked back. Not easy, Dana, but I hear that. It's Miss Kimberly. Being engaged made it harder because then you think about what others will think. That's true, but you have to do what's best for you. Excellent point. And I would say that is a life lesson. If your decision has a level of influence of worrying about what other people think, you will never be yourself. The circle in my profile says be you. Why? Because you are going to get seduced every day to be someone else. I can easily get seduced. Sometimes people only want me to talk about certain topics. That's why I always have to check myself. Am I sharing what's really on my soul, or am I pandering to the audience? And that's why many people do pander. Why? Because they want people to follow them. They want people to be on the hook to them. Again, a job of someone who really loves you wants you to have tremendous freedom to live your own life, to inspire yourself to do your own thing. Because when there is tremendous freedom and you still choose to be with each other, that's love, okay? Control and manipulation is the opposite of love. It's the opposite of freedom. And that's an unhealthy relationship. Very important. Very important. It's Miss Kimberly. I was dependent on him. It was so scary. It is so scary. Good. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everyone leaving the comments. Please know I appreciate that. It is scary. And that mindset, you can easily get into a stalker mindset. I did a video on that I remember, like, when a couple times I had either people stalking me or I had friends that girls were stalking them, etc. Like, I would laugh at them and I would clown them. And I would say, oh, it's stupid. Look how they're acting. And then the Boomerang. You ever see that movie Boomerang from the 90s with Eddie Murphy? Great movie. Okay? That's what he was. He was pretty much a playboy. Then, not that I was ever a playboy, but I want to use that example. Then, some girl, who is the girl too that married Mike Tyson? What was her name? Somebody tell me the name of that girl from Boomerang. Then, basically, Eddie Murphy was a player and Halle Berry was in that movie too. And then, Eddie Murphy was a player for so many years. And then a girl finally seduced him, and he was more emotionally in love with her than all the other girls. And then he ended up looking like a fool because it was too scary to leave her. And then he felt the pain of all the other girls that he basically played. And so sometimes we have to experience, God has to humble us. Because just like me, like I would clown people. So look at this person going crazy over that person. But then you fail and someone has you emotionally on the hook and then you look stupid. And what does failure teach us? Compassion, empathy, humility. Very important lesson. And the only way to experience that is to fuck up, okay? Robin Givens. Yes, Robin Givens. She was the girl that got Eddie Murphy in Boomerang. And that was a great movie. That was her in her heyday. And she got Mike Tyson too, I think, a little bit. Basically, like, as far as, like, you know what I mean, seduced him. But Mike Tyson was wild then too. So it takes two to tango. Never forget that too. It takes two to tango. All right? It takes two to tango. But, you know, as we bring it back centered around technology, you know, it connects us. I mean, it connects us, but there also could be a disconnect when you're in the physical presence. Yeah, but he beat her. Yeah, I did beat her. He was over emotion. I mean, he was at a point in his life, you know, where his emotions very much ruled him. And hopefully, as you get older, you start to gain a little bit more control of your emotions. When you're in your 20s and even early 30s, you know, emotions are going to be hard to fight off. And so you have to learn tools and you have to learn resources on how to calm yourself, on what type of situations to put yourself around. And you're figuring out from 20 to 30, you're figuring out what type of friends you should have. And your friends play a big part in your life, in the quality of your life, definitely. And the type of people even you watch on YouTube. Like I say, technology could be used for good or bad. Technology, you can watch things on YouTube that totally inspire you, and even if they're funny stuff, but they have a somewhat positive tilt. But like I said, there are whole YouTube channels dedicated to slander and gossip. Whole YouTube channels. Their whole existence is to make videos to mock and to disrespect somebody. Even if that person is an asshole, you should never, never allow someone to have that much control of your spirit that you spend that much time and energy in making videos about them. And your whole life is centered around, let me see if I can bring somebody down. That's a dangerous mind. Dangerous mind. It's dangerous to yourself, not to anybody else. Because, I mean, come on, too. You talk about the internet, good or bad. I mean, you think somebody's really scared of an internet gangster? I mean, like I said, I mean, I see disrespectful stuff. Sometimes I block people. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got to be, there's a way bigger. You don't have to worry about the person who's fucking cursing you out on YouTube. You have to worry about the person who says nothing, okay? That's my life experience in the street. You don't worry about a loud-ass mouth leaving comments on a fucking video. You worry about somebody who doesn't say shit, and before you know it, they got a fucking gun to your head. That's the type of person you worry about. Not a fucking YouTube gangster or Instagram gangster or whoever. You don't worry about those people. Believe me, those people, they're masturbating at home. They got Doritos in one hand, they got their internet gangster fingers going, and they're watching porn in the other. Those people, I mean, even if they, crazy. But that's, again, how technology could be used for the good or the bad. But at the end of the day, does that change society? No, because that type of mind, that unhealthy, slandering, gossip mind, is someone who, he would do that, or she would do that, whether they had YouTube or not. And it's an unhealthy mind. It just has the ability to express itself on a global platform, and all they have to do is type, so you may see it. And that's what the question often comes up to. And I see you, it's Miss Kimberly with the laugh out loud emoji. I got you. And that's the question too that comes up sometimes. Like, do I think society is getting worse than it was? No. It's just that you see all different aspects of society quicker and more often. But society has always had murder. Society has always had prostitution. Society has always had prejudice. Society has always had all these things. It's just that now it's more transparent and it's quicker and it's more accessible. But it's not different. I mean, there is nothing new under the sun. That's a scriptural reference. And that was back then when the only technology was the written word. And that statement was made because somebody knew exactly what the hell life, nothing changes. And they said, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing. Okay? So it's nothing new. I think, if anything, society continues to get better overall. But, you know what I mean? Again, too, you have to be mindful that technology, social media, people report more on negativity and gossip than they do positivity. Why? Because drama sells. Excuse me, guys. We get booted off once in a while. But, yeah, I mean, technology, a lot of people use it for drama because drama sells, and drama will keep your ratings up. And when you have more ratings, you can sell more ads. And when you sell more ads, then, you get more money. And that's why I said, like, sometimes I make videos on topics that may not get a lot of views, but they mean something to me and they keep me in a healthy place. And I'd rather work for a living, okay, and keep my soul and keep my integrity than tap dance and give people drama just to, have self-promotion. And so you always have to check yourself with that, because you're always going to get seduced into being someone else. And a lot of time that seduction is for the dollar bill. And that's why I always promote living below your means, because when you live below your means and you work for your living, you don't have to sell your soul to pander to someone else for donations. It's the people that live above their means and they make content solely for advertisement revenue. And when you do that, you will be in an unhealthy place because you're going to be making content solely for money. And when you're doing something solely for money, you get into a dangerous place where you can seriously compromise yourself, and you won't be happy. You can make a video with all the editing you want, with all the happy music, with all the animals, and you can, tap dance and smile the whole damn video. But let me tell you something. I know these people. They end up at night drinking, self-medicating, popping pills, eating shit food because they can't go to sleep. Their demons haunt them. They have an account full of revenue based on selling drama. People such as Alex Jones, people such as whoever, they sell the red meat, but they go through a nasty divorce, and they don't want to publicize that. That's what happened to that guy Alex Jones, and I know he leans heavy right and whatever. That guy, like Rush Limbaugh, they sell red meat to the public. They pump conspiracy theories. But when real life happens, like they get into divorces, or like Rush Limbaugh, when he overdosed on prescription drugs, I didn't hear him wanting more spotlight on that. I didn't hear him saying that he is the problem of drug use in society. When Alex Jones got into a bitter divorce and he was basically said to be a bad, abusive father, I didn't hear him do a live stream about that. Instead, I heard him attack someone who was reporting on that. These are the people that sell their soul for attention, for viewership. And they use technology in a negative way. The same people who used old technology, such as written books, in a negative way. Do you know that movie, The Book of Eli? Great movie. Okay? It was basically like Armageddon had happened in the future. And all biblical scriptures had been erased from time. And Denzel Washington, great actor, was in that movie. He was the last person that had the Bible on the earth. And he didn't want to give it to and he was traveling west. So shout out to Sarah Mitchell and anybody on the West Coast. He was traveling west. And he was the only one that had the Bible left. And he didn't want to give it to a certain person. Why? Because that person wanted that piece of technology. Again, the written word was the first piece of technology. He didn't want to give it to just anybody because some people would use that to control people's thinking and to manipulate them. Anything good, whether it's the Bible or whether it's a live feed or whether it's a video or whether it's a Skype, anything good and powerful can be used for the bad. So you have to be careful. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to get back to comments too. Linda, an unhealthy mind, and respect and love you, Linda. Thank you also for being a consistent viewer. I appreciate you. An unhealthy mind comes in many forms, ways, and people. I agree with that. It's Miss Kimberly. That's true, but I think the age of social media has made it worse now. We have influencers, correct? That's why I always say your job is to be a light amongst men and women. Your job is to let your light shine. Your job is to be a voice, not an echo. Your job is not to sell everything, live in a forest for free, and never let your voice be shown. Never let your compassion be shown. And never use the gifts you have to work and to add to society. I don't promote that. That's why sometimes I come at Bob Wells. I mean, what's the answer? Is the answer to sell everything and live in a desert? No, certainly not. And everybody shouldn't be campground host. The answer is downsize your life so you don't have to sell your soul. And then you can do the things that you are passionate about, and you can be a positive person. You can be a positive waxing and makeup hairstylist. Instead of, I'm sure you see a lot of gossip places. My mom used to be a hairstylist. You know how many hairstylist salons are gossipy and full of slander? How do you make that better? By you living a simplified life where maybe you can take the risk to start your own business and you have a positive tone. You don't allow gossip in your hair salon. That's how you make it better. You play uplifting music and you don't allow all that fucking gossip. That's how you make society better. Not by selling everything, getting a transit thing and living in the forest. I don't agree with that. All right. So, Guloso, Connecticut 203 New Haven. I love you. I appreciate you. Back for another daily live chat and inspiration. Love and respect to you, New Haven. Love and respect to you and that soul that you have for being a great parent. I always thank you. Appreciate you. Linda, good night. Okay, good night. You have to go, Linda. Love and respect to you. Thank you for everything, Linda. Sayo, again, I don't want to manifest anything. I just got in, but I think that technology has improved quality of life in many ways. And Sayo, so yes, that was the core of my message, that overall, I think society helps, not hurts. Overall, I feel technology helps, not hurts society. But like anything of great power and resource, it can be used for the bad. And it can cause us to disconnect from relationships when we're in a physical presence. When we're physically with something, nothing can replace the physical presence. When we're physically somewhere and with someone, we need to learn to lessen our viewing of the phone by using the virtual world less and gaining that physical dimension. Okay, so it's a balance. But yes, as far as being interconnected, as far as learning from other people and sharing and growing and getting different mindsets and different perspectives, it's very empowering technology. Very empowering. I agree with that. It's Miss Kimberly. That's why I'm not working in that environment. I understand that. Like I said, I've been around that, so I can understand it. But I also met a couple great people. One of my best friends who was a male, and then he sold it to a female. And I know the female that bought it as well. He owned a barber shop, and he also owned, it was like also a salon. And they were great people. And overall, he ran that place properly. So it can be done. And I remember I always felt like, and we've talked about in the past, I try to make this chat room and this live stream a healthy environment and a respectful environment. And so I always felt, at least the time I was there, that he made sure that that salon and that barbershop was a healthy environment, a safe environment. And that's the job of a leader. That's the job of a positive person in society, to not just say, no, I don't want to take the promotion because I don't want the responsibility. Now, certainly, if you can't handle any more on your plate, I don't want you to stretch yourself too thin. We've talked about that in the past. But I want you to be very careful before you deny accepting a leadership position. Because when you don't accept a position of authority, an asshole will take it, okay? And you wonder why the world sometimes is run by assholes. Not necessarily because they're wealthy, but because they're willing to get involved, because they're willing to take on more responsibility. So as you lessen your dependence on materialistic things, you will have more capacity to take on more responsibility, to be more of a light in society, okay? Not hide in the desert or forest. I don't agree with that. Okay. Got it. Sayo got it. So that's what it is. I mean, and Sayo, man, love and respect to you. I see you growing and I appreciate you. And I believe Sayo has a channel. Sayo, you have a channel, correct? And what do you share? That was also part of my message, that this allows us to connect at a certain level, but also there may be a time where each of you will need to go out and start your own channel. It doesn't mean we can't still connect, but it means that we can support each other, and it gives you an opportunity to verbalize and illustrate your mindset at a higher level. And I want you to grow. I want you to be the best you. It's Miss Kimberly. Yes. Laughing loud emoji with two forests and an eye looking. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know, we're not squirrels. We're not deer. I mean, I love being around nature. I did a video the other day of me walking in the forest. Beautiful. It's a beautiful place to connect with nature, but there's a time for that, and there's a time to re-engage society. I mean, Moses went off and he basically found his promised land with just him and wifey, right? If you know the scriptures a little bit, he was well off. He was connected to the higher powers in society at that time. And he had basically went away from Egypt, and he was basically living in a rural area, and he was good. But he kept saying, something is calling me back to Egypt. What was calling him back to Egypt? To lead, to be a light in society, and to lead his people out of bondage. I mean, many people, like you look throughout history, because usually leaders, I mean, you're very smart, you're very intelligent, you know something, so you can easily, like, you know what I mean, make your money and go hide and be good. You understand? You don't need the drama of being responsible for other people. But what you will come to realize one day, you'll be in the middle of a forest, you'll be in the middle of a desert, you'll be in the middle of somewhere isolated, and there'll be a burning inside you. There'll be a calling, because you're not using all the gifts you have. You're not fulfilling your purpose. You will never be fulfilled hiding in life. There's a time to hide under a rock. And sometimes I've done it. I want to be honest with you. And sometimes I'm like, damn, I want to hide under a rock. But as I grow and mature and I build myself up, those moments of wanting to hide under a rock come from not balancing my life and not taking enough me time. When you learn to balance your life, take enough self-care time, have healthy relationships, then you will have enough capacity to take a step back and then to re-engage, etc., etc. Rather than you are living an unhealthy life, mind, body, and soul, you're totally had it with everything and you just want to hide under a rock. Big difference. And if you do get to that point and you hide under a rock like I did for a few years, then you realize that's just a dark-ass place and it's hard to crawl yourself back out. Okay? And then somebody else has got to come help you. So be careful. Can you speak about New Year's Eve resolutions for one of the next topics? Yes, good suggestion. Thank you. It's Miss Kimberly. You have a couple great suggestions. I will do a live stream based on that topic. And again, if anyone else has any topics they want to talk about on a live stream, I mean, let me know. I'm all open for anything. I mean, any topic I'll talk about, and I want you guys to talk about. And I want to go around the room now. I know Linda shared a little bit, and this Miss Kimberly shared a little bit, and Sayo shared. If there's anyone else in the room, what is your opinion, respectfully stated? What is your opinion on technology? Has it helped or hurt you? That's what I want to know. Before you even say society, because I gave you my experiences. Has technology helped or hurt you? And as you say that, I'm going to give it a moment. I'm turning on my car, because again, I live full-time out of my car. And I want to give a time check here. And I want to check the degrees, because I always like to do that. Has technology helped or hurt you? What do you think about it? How would you handle, do you have kids? How do you handle it with kids? Do you tell them, like, you can use your phone, you can't? It's 50 degrees in New Jersey, and it's 3:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just like to give a time check. It's Miss Kimberly. Thank you, it's Miss Kimberly. I appreciate it. It's Miss Kimberly. It's helped me in so many ways, from personal to business. No doubt about that. I agree with that. And like I said, I think Miss Kimberly has got a great Instagram, and I would definitely recommend checking that out. And yeah, I mean, there's been different moments in my day that I look on. I mean, you have to learn how to navigate the social media world. It's Miss Kimberly. I've become friends with people, yes, I haven't even met. That's true. Or I ended up meeting them. Now I give you credit. And I know a couple other people that I've met. I mean, I know people that have got married through Match.com. They've met their actual spouse via the internet. So certainly, I'm sorry about that. We get kicked off. Yeah, but certainly you could form a spouse relationship online. If you feed into positivity, it can be a good thing. I know that's right, because too, when I start really using Facebook and all that, I mean, you have to learn how to unfollow people, and that's the main thing. I mean, you have to learn how to filter it, just like anything else. I mean, you have to learn what people can you follow, what people can't you, what people should you subscribe to, what people shouldn't you subscribe to. So, that comes back. That's like a social media boundary. Anyway, got to go, Sam. I'll be back later. Thank you, it's Miss Kimberly. Have a good one. I appreciate it. Enjoy your day. Stay positive. And if you're back later, love and respect to that. That'll be a beautiful thing. But you have to learn how to say, you have to learn how to have boundaries, even on social media. And part of that is, you know what I mean, unfriending certain people. If you get disrespect, blocking those people, and not letting them ruin it for your benefit. I mean, for you being able to connect with different people. So it's a balance, like anything else. It's hard though, because once in a while I'll get a negative comment, or I'll see something like, crazy, and it sours you. It sours your soul, because you can get 99 positive comments that people love you, they think you're great, and they're very encouraging. And then you can just get one asshole that says something like totally disrespectful. And throughout the course of the day, that's that one comment that sticks out in your mind. It's not the 99 positive, it's the one negative. And that's where you have to have a level of self-confidence and self-discipline to say, I'm not going to let that one person, or whatever 1% of people stain my mind and turn me off to something that is positive for me. So it's a balance. There's no doubt about that. Is Jesse out there? I wonder how Jesse's doing. I was thinking of him. I know he started his journey a couple days ago. Living out of a 2006 Jeep Liberty. Yeah, so that's a journey for him. Sarah, are you still in there? How's California today? If you're still in there. And Sayo, where are you from again? Where are you checking in from? But too, you have to realize that technology, there's a lot of times there's just gonna be Greece. Man, that's powerful. See, that's what I mean. I mean, Sayo's checking in from Greece. Sayo added a great thing. I love that Bruce Lee quote you gave yesterday too. I thought that was a beautiful quote. Sayo has a great spirit, very insightful, and he has something positive to add to the conversation. I mean, and part of technology, part of social media is what happens is you have more eyes on you. Kingfish, what's going on? Kingfish, hey bro, good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're well too. Thank you for writing a comment. That means a lot to me. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate that, Kingfish. How's your day going, man? I mean, that's what I mean. There's some beautiful people out there. And you have to understand, too, that a lot of times with social media, the downside is you have a lot of people watching you. Most people watch you, but they don't comment. They have their eyes on you. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay that, you know what I mean? Somebody may join a live chat. Somebody may watch videos. Somebody may watch your Instagram picture. No Man's Land. Hope all's well. Hands up. Yes. Good to see you, No Man's Land. How's your day going? I love No Man's Land name. That's a good name. So a lot of times people look at your pictures. They look at your thoughts on your Facebook feed or et cetera, and you become self-conscious because you know everybody's looking at them, even if they don't comment or like them, and that can play a part with your psyche, with your confidence. You have to build yourself up where you're okay if everyone watches you and everyone laughs, or if whatever, or if no one says anything. You have to get to a point in your spirit that you're documenting your life, just like people prior documented their life via the written word, okay? And it passed on through generations, whether it was spiritual written word, whether it was medical written word. I mean, how do you think we got to the point in medicine and science? It wasn't from people verbally sharing stories. It was from people documenting experiments, writing down mathematical formulas, and passing that on. It was someone bold enough to say, I don't give a fuck if they don't understand EMC squared 2. I don't care if no one understands what I'm saying. I don't care if I get 1,000 thumbs down. I don't care if everyone joins the live chat but nobody says anything. I am so inspired. I have something to share that I'm going to document my life, and I'm going to be myself. If Albert Einstein didn't leave documentation of his existence, if he didn't dent this universe, where would society be? And he did so via technology. At that time, technology was writing down your thoughts, your ideas, and your insights. Okay? So it's very powerful. No Man's Land, driving to work. Okay. No Man taking my home with me. Yes. So No Man's Land is in the same boat as me, shall I say, is that he lives full-time out of his vehicle. What vehicle again? I forgot No Man's Land. I'm sorry. And he makes a great point. If you're one of the people that are watching this channel because you're thinking about downsizing, living out of your car or van, that is a huge benefit. I totally agree with No Man's Land. Everywhere you go is your home. You have all your conveniences. You're never rushing from supermarket to work to home because everywhere you go is your home. And that's a huge benefit. And that relieves mental anxiety. I agree with No Man's Land on that. Sayo, sorry I don't comment much today, but I'm feeling tired. No problem. Sayo, you have that freedom as well. This chat room and everything I try to do is based on freedom. Freedom is love. I want you to freely enter this chat room and freely exit whenever you want or your personal circumstance desires. Also, if you don't want to leave a comment, I don't want to force you. Love and free-flowing communication is based on freedom. And everyone here has that. And so I want to also... sometimes I'm mindful and I pause and I want to give opportunity for people to share. I want to read comments. But certainly if nobody wants to comment, then I want you to be you. I want you to be silent. Because just like me, late at night, I live stream different people, whether it's spiritual or whether it's like talking about science or whatever. And I just listen with my earbuds on. I don't even watch the screen. And I like to hear the person talk for their different thoughts and their insights. So I am on the other side of this screen in my own life. And so there's plenty of times that I join live chats, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Periscope, and I don't say anything either. So I'm being very fair and honest that, please, do you. 2000, Kingfish, I'm good. Enjoying this Florida weather. Man, you're in Florida, man. I got to get down there. I'm hoping. Now, I have off next week. I don't know. I want to try to be back up here, though, for Thanksgiving, to spend Thanksgiving night with my mother. So I was debating... And I can fly down there, but I don't like to fly because then, like No Man's Land said, I'm leaving my home. I don't like hotel rooms. I don't like renting cars. And I want to be back by next Thursday to have Thanksgiving with my mother. So I don't know if I'll be in Florida next week, but definitely I have 2 weeks off in December. So I'll definitely be down there then. But now, from now till March is the best time to be in Florida, man. So I'm happy for you. I'm not even gonna say I'm jealous of you because I don't like being jealous for people. I'm happy for you, Kingfish, and you earned it, man. If you live full time in Florida, you put up with the tough summers. So you earned, what I mean, the beautiful winters. So respect to you, and respect to that, and respect to No Man's Land. He's got a 2016 Rogue, Nissan Rogue. My mother has a Rogue. Beautiful car. She just got a new one. She leases one every year. I like the new ones. I was just sitting in it. It was very comfortable, very nice. Rogues are a great car. All-wheel drive, I believe, for the most models are. And I've often talked about that. Now, if you're going to live full-time out of your car or van, I think if you are going to live in a climate such as northern states, New Jersey, etc., that's going to snow, you need an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive car. If you're going to live in the California hills, you may also need an all-wheel drive car. Or if you're going to seriously boondock, you may need an all-wheel or four-wheel drive car. That's very important, okay? If you're going to be full-time in Florida, then that's something you probably wouldn't need. So again, you have to define and carve your life based on your location and what you want to do and what you see yourself doing. Very important. But that's a great car. That's a great car. It's a Nissan Rogue. Very nice inside. You can put the seats down and you can do your thing. Yeah, Kingfish, man, a check from Florida, man. Respect and love to Florida. A lot of great people. I have a lot of also friends that grew up in Florida. Oh, let's see, we got a new person. D. Polino. Respect and love to you. Hi, from New Hampshire. And the reason I can't respond is because I watch YouTube on Roku. Yeah, D, one is, let me say, D, thank you for putting that comment. And thank you for sharing. See, that's the thing I love. Like, one is we have a person from New Hampshire, okay? And then we have a person from Greece. And then we have people from Florida. I love Florida. I mean, and now we know, see, the different aspect of somebody watching on Roku. Which is basically, I believe, like a TV setup and like almost like a smart TV, and they watch on that. It's not like on their handheld device or tablet or computer. There's different platforms that you can watch this on, and thank you for sharing that with me. I learned something. I also learned that one time. I remember I was watching somebody else's YouTube channel, and someone left a comment. They say, why do people watch videos and never leave a thumbs up when it's like a good video? And one person commented to D's point that they do a lot of their watching either on Roku or like Chromecast, and they don't have the ability to thumbs up it or leave a comment like D was just saying. Thank you, D. Because I'm really blessed me, D. Thank you. Because they're watching on a different platform. So that's cool. That you know what I mean? I appreciate that, D. Love and respect. D, well, if you can leave a comment, are you a nomad? Do you live full-time out of your car, van, RV, or do you live in a house? Linda, back in Florida, hate it, very hot. Yes, van life. Florida van, yep, Roku. So see, that's another good point Linda brings up. So what's one person's heaven, maybe another person's hell in one sense. Like some people, D, no, I'm saving for a van. Amen. All right, D, we're gonna inspire you to do what you want. I don't want to manipulate you to do anything you don't want. But if you want to live in a van and that's something you can do, and I want to encourage you that, you know what I mean, you can do that. And like I say, for me, in my opinion, I'm only giving my opinion. I don't want to get back to Linda's point because I think it's a good point. In my opinion, if you're looking at a van, I said it yesterday, I like the Ford Transit Connect. But I don't know if you want to fully stand up and you want a high top van, but you don't really need it. And I don't know if you're a female or male. If you're, well, either way, you don't need to fully stand up, even if you're a female. I mean, all you need to do is squat, really. So, but that's cool. I appreciate that. And Linda makes a good point. Linda's saying that for her, she doesn't like Florida. And I've had conversations with Linda, and I've got that from her. Now, there may be various reasons. I don't want to, and I know many people that don't like Florida. They don't like the heat. They don't like the humidity. D, female and short. Respect and love to that. Thank you, D. Respect and love to you. I appreciate that. So Linda, let me ask you this. Linda, do you not like Florida for the all year round living, or you don't like the environment? Like, I know some people, they really like the change of seasons. Like, like I made a video, in New Jersey now, it's fall weather, etc. What's your main reason why you don't like Florida? Let me ask you that. That's a better way to do it. D from New Hampshire. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, let me get back to Sayo. I apologize. I didn't see you, Sayo. Would you give us some insights on your job history and your current work status? Yes, I will. I feel like that because we have a few in common, I could benefit from knowing what you do and living in some guidance. Yeah, I'll share that. We got no problem with that. And Linda says it's too hot all year round. Well, I respect that. It's too hot all year round in Florida for Linda, and that's why. And that's a beach Kingfish. You know I'm smiling because I see beach bum. You know you're tugging on my heart right now. But let me first respond with Linda. That's why it's my goal and my dream and vision to be a snowbird. Meaning I do like to stay in the New York, New Jersey area for the summer, and then for the winter I would like to be in Florida. I don't know about all year round. And in the summer in Florida, it's what they call the rainy season. There's a lot of rain because it's a tropical climate. So I understand that. And I'm going to get back to you, Sayo, because it's going to take a little bit while to explain that, but I am going to explain my work history. So Kingfish, he's tugging at my heart. I'm a beach bum. I have a similar way. I mean, I don't like to use the word bum, but I understand what he's saying. I love the beach. Me too. Being by the water inspires me and refreshes me. Me and Kingfish are on the same page with that. I love it. There's something magic for me. Something magical about being by the ocean that inspires me. Now, there's something magical for certain people being in the mountains. So again, I don't want to say that everything is not for everyone, but I hear Kingfish on that one. D. Florida is okay to visit as other states, and I hope to visit all lower 48 someday. See, D has now her own way that she wants to carve out her vision for her life, which many people do. Many people have the vision of not kind of being like a static nomad like I am, or a snowbird nomad like I want to be. D wants to be a traveling nomad. She wants to visit the entire country, and I think that's a great goal, D. And I want to encourage you to continue to take the small daily steps to achieve your goal. And that's beautiful. And so I respect that. I respect people that like to travel. When you travel, you will gain tremendous perspective, because even within America, each state is different, has different personality, and you learn a lot. Linda, and I'm going to get back to you, Sayo. I haven't forgotten you. I was born in Patterson, New Jersey. Yep, Snowbird. Yep, I know where Patterson, right by there. I totally understand Patterson. Yep, Snowbird. Yeah, Snowbird's the way to be. So many states will see more if in advance. Yeah, when you live a simplified life, when you live below your means, to some extent, the world is at your feet, okay? Because you have so much more freedom and flexibility, you can change your mind. Say, you know what? I want to go live in Florida. You know what? I want to go live in New York. You know what? I want to go live in New Hampshire. You know what? I want to go live in California. And with minimal bills and with maximum freedom, I mean, you don't need much to take care of yourself. You live a simplified life. It gives you more freedom, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, Sayo, to answer you, my work history is as such. After I graduated high school, I was going to go into a technical institute. I didn't know something related to technology. And I always worked. I worked the last 2 years of high school. I just worked. My first job was at a CD music store in the mall. That's when, malls had like music stores where they sold cassettes and CDs. That was my very first job, worked for minimum wage. And did that for about a year and a half, something like that. Then I graduated high school. I was trying to figure out what direction. And my father, after many years of not having a relationship, he engaged me, said, Sam, I don't know what you're thinking of doing with your career, but to try to make like a bond with me, he said, they're doing a summer help program for being an electrician. And he was in a union in North New Jersey. And so he said, if you want to do the summer help program, you can do it. And I recommend that you do it and do a 5-year apprenticeship program. A 5-year apprenticeship program means you work 40 hours minimum during the week, and then 2 nights minimum, at 2 nights per week you go to school for whatever it was, 4 or 5 hours. And over the course of 5 years, you get a journeyman electrician certificate from the United States Department of Labor. Now, initially I said no, because I didn't have a desire to work with my hands. I didn't have a desire to do that. But at that time I was making minimum wage. I think minimum wage was $6 an hour. And he said, well, starting pay is $12 an hour. I said, oh shit, fuck it, sign me up. And part of what signed me up too was I saw value, even at that young age, and even if I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, if I commit to 5 years and I'm getting paid good money and free education while I do this program, you work 40 hours during the week and go to school at night. If I can get past these 5 years, I have a certificate that then I can use and I can do something else, and no one can take that away from me. And that intrigued me more than just college, because I have a level of intelligence, I have a level of creativity, but I can't sit in a classroom for hours and just listen to lectures. I mean, I learned so much by YouTube because I can scroll, through the timeline and pick out the parts that I need, and I can go. I can't sit in a classroom for hours. I hate that. But sometimes I had to discipline myself to get through this program, but it wasn't to the extent of college. So after 5 years, I worked in various places with this union. I worked in pharmaceutical plants, running galvanized pipes such as Merck Pharmaceutical. I worked in oil refineries. I worked in strip malls. I worked in commercial office buildings. I worked in senior citizen. I worked in all different type of construction building where you install electrical infrastructure. Learned a lot. Failed a lot. In the beginning, I didn't know what really nothing was, and I got made fun a lot. For the first 2 years, I was basically a coffee boy. You take a lot of abuse, verbal, etc. Especially, in construction in New York, New Jersey. I mean, guys on the construction site, at least, especially at that time, 20 years ago, it wasn't as, say politically correct, but it wasn't as, it was like, you take a lot of shit. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to have a little bit of a thick skin. And so, there's, that's how construction was, especially in this area at that time. So, and there was different things, where different people were connected to different people, and you needed to be careful of certain things. I mean, that's part of life too. So, but the bottom line is, I was blessed to have that opportunity. I did that. So after 5 years, I had my journeyman electrician certification. Like I said, I never liked working with my hands, but I saw ends to a means. So after I got that certification, and when you're working with the union, it's not consistent work all the time. Sometimes you work for 6 months and you're laid off for 3 months, etc. Sure, you collect unemployment, but you build a lifestyle based on you working all the time. And I didn't like that ups and downs. I didn't like that inconsistency, and I didn't really like working with my hands. So then I studied for 3 years to get my electrical contracting license. In America, to be a contractor, you have to take a state-given test, and they're all different based on the state you live in, to be your own contractor. And my field was specifically electrical contractor. So I had to take the test 3 different times. I failed 3 times. Finally, I passed. What's the lesson there too? Persistence beats resistance. You have to fail. You have to fail and be willing to show up and study your ass off. And you have to wait 6 months every time you fail to take that test again. Okay? So many people, they don't want to go through all that pain. There's a lot of pain involved. Just to apply to take the test, you have to go through so much documentation, so much, back and forth bureaucracy. But if you want something, you have to go after it. You have to fail. You have to keep trying. You can't fail once and say life isn't fair and then go back in your corner. It doesn't work like that. Okay? So I failed 3 different times. I finally took it. Then I have my electrical license plus my journeyman certificate. So this gave me the ability to start my own business. In addition to, I had a certain amount of college credits for electrical engineering. So for a couple years after that, I had my own business, electrical contracting business, and that's what I did. I also ran a nonprofit organization, but my money was mainly made off being an electrical contractor. And then what I learned in having my own business is you cannot solely depend on a consistent amount each month. You have to learn to budget. Some months you may make $10,000. Another month you may lose $5,000. So you have to have your own business for several years before you can average out. One is, does your business even make money, or is it a hobby? And 2 is, how much can you consistently make? And you have to be careful to discipline yourself, that if you make $10,000 in 1 month, you may lose $12,000 next month. So you can't just go crazy on that. So then I said, well, this isn't for me fully. I liked it. I didn't have to work with my hands as much. But 2, in America, the more employees that you employ, then you have to pay workers' compensation. There's a lot of bureaucracy. You have to have insurances, etc. And I did all that. I did everything legally. But it was a lot of stress, a lot of aggravation. There was a lot of inconsistency, and it was wearing on my spirit. So then I got involved into information technology. There was basically a data center organization. Data centers where they house servers. And there was an information technology company that was looking for an electrical engineer. And with my certifications, with my certain amount of credits I had towards electrical engineering, and with my work history, I was able to leverage all that and get that like a lower position as electrical engineer, like almost a facility technician. And then over the time, working a few years there, then I moved up to lead electrical engineer. So to excel in anything, you need to fail and you need to keep pushing forward. You need to get certain certifications and you need to be consistent. You will never grow your career by going from state to state to state. When you're at that or traveling a lot, you build equity being in the same location and being in the same industry over time, just like anything else. So in the beginning of your life, when you're building your career and you're building your work history and you're building your understanding of things, bouncing around will hurt you, not help you, okay? And there's a season and there's a time for everything. But the more certifications, the more work history, etc. you have, the better you are off. Now, final thing I'll summarize, and I'm going to go back to comments, is in between that, I also, when times it got tough and I was severely in debt, I also delivered pizzas at a pizzeria and I painted people's houses because there were certain times where work wasn't coming in. And there was a time in my life where I wasn't making enough to pay my bills and save at the end of each month. At the end of each month, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was living off credit cards. I was living off debt. I had to learn how much do I actually need per month to pay all my bills, to sustain my lifestyle, and how much am I taking in? For years, I stuck my head in the sand, and I didn't want to acknowledge that, and that hurt me, didn't help me. That's an overview of my work history. You need income. You need a job, and you need a positive attitude, and you need to learn how to build and keep relationships. No job will hire you if you're very intelligent, but you don't know how to get along with others. Because if you don't know how to get along with others, you're going to hurt the business. It doesn't matter if you're slinging pizzas or if you're slinging $1 million deals with JPM Morgan. Okay? You have to be intelligent. You have to have work history, but you have to get along with others. Because business does not function when there's contention in the office, when there's contention amongst its workers. Having a positive attitude, showing up consistently, will get you further than masturbating to 20 different degrees and staying in college the rest of your life. Because there's a part of life that's philosophy and education, and then there's a part of life that's practical experience and having work history of being at a certain location for a certain time, and previous bosses says this is a good worker, promote him. Rather than bouncing from place to place, going in debt, getting 20 different degrees, and you haven't worked consistently for 3 years straight in any time in your life. That will hurt you, not help you. I got to get back to some comments. Wow, my background major is electrical. This is Linda. Wayne, but boys could not make it. Girl better, good hearing. I understand that. D, I can relate to that. Living on a fixed income and got a part-time job in August. So that is how I am saving for a van. Well, I understand that definitely. And a fixed income and working part-time. As you minimize your expenses, the burden will get less. But remember, D, and anyone out there who is downsizing, the first step to downsizing is selling, not buying. The first step of you downsizing your life is you not buying a van. It's selling what you own and getting out of your lease, okay? Or whatever your situation is. A lot of people get seduced into saying, oh, I want to downsize. So they look for a smaller house or they look for a car and they want to buy that first. But that's not the answer. The answer is to sell first and then acquire. If you don't do that, you won't do things in order. If you don't do things in order, in my experience, they don't end up positive. Okay? My experience. Linda, now good night to all. Good night to you, Linda. This is why it's Inspirational Nomad. And Linda, you are why it's a good and healthy community, because your voice matters and your comments matter. And I appreciate you. That's sincere. And peace and love to Florida. I know you're also working on your vision. I want you at night to just be inspired, to think of positive things, to keep visualizing your next step, Linda. I know you're in the process of getting where you want to be. Thank you. You're appreciated. You matter. Your voice matters. Don't allow any insecurities and don't allow any negative people to stain your confidence. You keep pushing forward and you let them all laugh. All right? God bless you, Linda. Good night. Love and respect, man. Love and respect to everybody. D, man. Really good meeting you. Love and respect to D from New Hampshire. What's the weather like in New Hampshire right now, D? What's the temperature out there? Or up there, I should say. She didn't even give a temperature. She just gave a smile emoji or a symbol with a cool here. I understand that. When I switch back to technology, see, technology helps us. Because all you have to do, now I know D is on her Roku, All you have to do is look at your phone or computer and you automatically know the time. I keep my apartment set at 58. I like that. See, I leave it at, well, I don't leave my thing at anything, but I like it cooler. And I visited my mom the other day, and she wanted me to stay in the house with her. And at night it was like 30-some degrees. I said, no, I want to sleep in the car. And I layered up. I felt better in the car than inside with heat. So D keeps it cool in her house, and I respect that because I tend to like it on the cooler side, especially at night. I mean, during the day, I'm with my guy Kingfish. I like that beach. I like that sunny weather. Sayo's in the building. Sayo, thanks for the information. Gotta sleep too. Gonna watch the full video tomorrow. Thank you. Sayo, love and respect to you. I want you to keep being bold enough to be yourself, all right? Don't let anyone shame you, and don't apologize for speaking up respectfully. I want you to continue to grow your confidence because you have a positive voice of integrity. And I like too that you're sensitive. Sensitive, okay, is a positive word, not a negative word. Don't let anybody else define sensitive for you because I'm sensitive now. Some people, but I'm also confident. So I want you to be okay with being sensitive, and I want you to continue to be you. You're a blessing to me, and you're a blessing to others. Stay inspired. D, I wear extra clothes and a hat. Amen, D. I'm the same way. You might have seen my video, D. I did a whole video on layering up. I mean, that's when it gets cold at night, that's what I like to do. I put my, like Under Armour or whatever on. I put a hat. Yeah, you did see the video, so you can. I don't want to give you the whole thing again. You saw it. Love and respect to D, man. That's good stuff. Overall, I feel positive, man. I had a positive day. The only thing negative today was I did get a negative ass comment in the morning. But it's just one guy. It's like, you get 90% positive, you get 10% negative. And then I looked at the guy's page. This guy was like, I don't even want to call it because I don't believe in calling someone that, but what they call troll sites or what do they call just people. Like his whole page was based on slandering like Nomadic Fanatic, and I guess there's some guy named Elvis or something. And his whole life is dedicated to slandering others. Instead of using his time to build his own life, to share a message, his whole life is dedicated to hating on other people. I mean, I know too, I had a viewer that, yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, and I'm going to spend some time just on getting at it. You know what it is. I mean, this is the type of people you deal with all the time in life. So you have to understand that. You can't let that stop you from being you and pushing forward. If you do, you're not going to go forward. They're going to bring you backwards. I'm telling you, you're going to go backwards if you let those people get control of your soul. You have to just, push forward. Emotional manipulation is real. Sometimes it's subtle and it plays on your sympathy. And sometimes emotional manipulation plays on your fear. They think they can bully you into their mindset. But there's two different types of emotional manipulation. It's I have a pity party and I want you to hear and sympathize with me. Now, believe me, if you watch my videos in context, you know I'm a man of compassion. Compassion is one of the greatest gifts you have. Never not be compassionate. But some people will try to manipulate and guilt trip you into being just to feel pity for someone. And they want you to let anything slide. They want the tail to wag the dog. And you have to rebuke them. Okay? You can't let them emotionally manipulate you. And then the other type of an emotional manipulator is someone who thinks they can bully or scare you because, you know what I mean, they're a verbal tough guy. All right? Let me tell you something. Now, I don't believe in violence anymore, but I dealt with a tough guy too in my youth. I punched him in his fucking mouth and fucking bust his thing open. But that's not the answer. Because physical violence, eventually you will meet somebody that's tougher than you. So that's why I have to also be mindful that I need to share the message that's proper. The message isn't, physically go after people. Because eventually, you can meet somebody that can physically beat you. And I don't believe in violence as the answer. I believe in self-defense. Never forget that. But I don't believe in violence. What I'm trying to say is there is a certain mindset that wants to bully you and intimidate you so that you don't speak up. And so that, you don't share your voice in society. Anyone who does that is a controlling, manipulating person. And how do you combat that? By keep being you. Okay? That circle, be you. All right? Be confident. Let that person mock you, but then let them burn in their own hate. They can't sleep at night. They self-medicate. Why? Because they have a hateful, unforgiving, unproductive soul. All right? And we go forward. Those type of people go backwards. And they want anyone else that they can drag along with them, they want to go backwards. Not good. D's in the house. D's coming strong from from New Hampshire. Excuse me. Some people in my life think I won't do it, but I will without a doubt. Oops, no, I got you. Yeah, I got you. Some people, like sometimes people with me, because I'm very compassionate, I'm very sensitive, I'm very caring. And then sometimes, like, people think, like, you know what I mean? They can take advantage of that, and you have to put people in their place. And not from a physical intimidation way, but just from a place where you're not going to take it. Whether you cut them out of your life or whether you document and escalate or whatever you do. And let me tell you something, too. If you ever get into an altercation or you need to intervene in someone's argument, you don't intervene. What you do is you document and you call the authorities. And you make a report, okay? You make a report. Put that on their record. Some people, yeah, prison system somewhat is unhealthy where there's not rehabilitation, but some people need to be in prison. Some people are harmful to society. And some people need to be locked up and need to stay locked up. And the only way they get locked up is if you document and you call the authorities every time there is a level of abuse and disrespect, okay? Because until then, it will continue. Unrebuked disrespect and abuse will continue until it is documented and escalated. Never forget it, okay? Never forget it. Yes, I might have to cut them out of my life. Yes, you may have to. You have to circumcise yourself from unhealthy relationships. I truly believe in that. Very hard to do, so I have compassion, but very necessary to do to go forward. I totally believe that. Always remember to breathe. So it's a good thing. I mean, we push forward in life, and we stay inspired, you know, and we're thankful spirit. And we should also use technology. We circle back now on our theme. We should use technology to express thankfulness as well. We should use technology to express displeasure. We should do everything in a way that has some type of benefit, okay? Not just eye for an eye slander. I mean, there's plenty of people that use technology just to get back at someone. I don't believe in that. Because, yeah, you're not physically hurting someone, but you're engaging in an unhealthy game. I've made a video about internet investigators. Some people have a beautiful tool called the internet. They can use that tool to search job applications. They can use that tool to search how to start a business. They can use that tool to search medical and science evidence. They can use that tool to enhance their spiritual life. But instead of using that resource and that tool, they use the internet to investigate someone else's life, to try to find dirt on them, to gossip, and to just do unhealthy things. And so, again, anything of great power can be used for good or bad. And many people do use the internet just as a way to spy on people, just as a way to, you know what I mean, stalk people, just as a way to fill their day. Okay? Now, I want to be very clear. You guys know I use the internet a lot to connect, and I, at night, definitely spend an hour or so using the internet as entertainment. But there are certain people that, not for a few hours, not for a few moments, but for the full day, they are on the internet doing nothing good. Okay? That's when it's dangerous. But it's not dangerous because technology is dangerous. It's dangerous because they have an unhealthy, undisciplined mind and they don't want to do anything. And if there was no internet, what would they be doing? They would just be hanging out outside doing nothing. Okay? So believe me, I've seen both in life. Technology doesn't make that person better or worse. It just gives that ability, that person to do unhealthy behaviors in different ways. D, I feel bad for some people of the people I watch on YouTube because those trolls. Yes. I mean, certainly you need people in society to keep other people honest because people need to be checked. And there's certain times where people take advantage. But there is a level where it goes past of someone keeping someone honest and someone exposing truths. It goes into that dark realm of a conspiracy theory, Armageddon mindset, slander, and total mind occupation of someone else's life. Like I said, there's people that know what happened in Benghazi, but they don't know how to keep a healthy relationship with their daughter. There's people that know every aspect of nomadic fanatic's life, but they don't know how to get a job. Okay? There's people that know every bad thing someone's done, and they spend all day trying to expose that rather than focusing on self-improvement. And D feels bad for them. D, I have compassion on everybody, but I get to a certain point where I don't feel bad. I just rebuke them, and I let them be what they be. Because I saw that with a mother. I saw that growing up, seeing enabling. Enabling is you feel bad for the person to the point where you permit their unhealthy behavior. I have compassion on everyone, whoever they are, but I will not permit unhealthy behavior in my life. I won't. I'll document and escalate. And I will not enable bad behavior. Any abusive behavior will continue until you stand up to it, until you document it, until you call the proper authorities. Not when you go eye for an eye, not when you go comment for a comment. You don't solve it that way. If anything, you get drug into the drama that way. So use technology to screenshot, to document, and then use technology to escalate, to report to the authorities, to do. And that's how it'll stop, okay? And that's the only way it will stop. Whether you're talking about in the workforce or whether you're talking on YouTube. Believe me, I've seen both, okay? And you're going to need to learn that lesson in life. And until you learn that lesson, the tail wags the dog. Until you learn that lesson, you're not in a good place. Doesn't matter if you live in a car or a mansion, okay? Woo, praise the Lord. And if you don't believe in the Lord, I still respect you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing me. That's how I feel. Sometimes I just like to say that. Sometimes I say praise the Lord. Now, I grew up with some people that they say praise the Lord and they were hypocrites. So I understand that there may be some hate on when I say that. But I'm also I'm saying praise the Lord. It makes me feel good a little bit. Lets me let out, you know what I'm saying, what I feel. And it's a good thing, man. You know, we push forward in life. You have to keep going forward. Keep going forward. That's the game. D, well, I need to go for now. Love and respect. I am cooking chicken soup for the landlord. Well, I'll give you credit for that. See, I wouldn't even. Well, D is thank you for joining and thank you for leaving comments. All right. So I'll just say go in peace. Enjoy your chicken soup. Have a great day. It was great to get to know you. And I look forward. Oh, sorry, I got booted off. He is 92. Okay, 92 years old. Okay. Then I understand. Just be careful. Keep those healthy boundaries. Okay. Because landlord and tenant. Just keep a healthy boundary. But I love and respect you, D. Love and respect. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for joining. So, lived here. Wow. Well, if you lived there, D says she's lived there for 27 years. Well, if you lived there for 27 years, then you certainly don't need me to give you instruction on that. I mean, if you lived there for 27 years, you obviously know what works for you. I'll say it like that. But you also know that time has come to an end. Because if something has gotten stirred up in your spirit where you're thinking about buying a van and downsizing and getting out of that place, that season is over. Okay? And when the season is over, and I'm not just speaking to D, I'm speaking to everybody. When the season is over, you don't wait till someone dies until you move on with your life. Okay? You start to take the daily steps today. Okay? You don't wait for someone to die. Or else you'll be waiting, after they die, you'll be waiting for the next thing. You'll be waiting for the next thing. There comes a time in your life where the season is over. And when that season is over, start going to the next one. Because the longer you stay in a place that you are no longer called to be, the more you will suffer. There'll be a nagging. There'll be like a little, you know what I mean? Like you get a pebble in your shoe. Like, yeah, you can still walk. But something ain't right. You're not comfortable. You can't go as far as you know you can. That pebble, that gnawing on your spirit, that's God, what I believe God. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. That's, to me, God nudging your spirit, pushing you to the next season of your life, pushing you to the next chapter, pushing you to your destiny. And if you turn off, if you turn away from that nudging, you end up like Jonah. Anybody knows the scripture, Jonah ended up in the belly of the beast. He stayed somewhere he shouldn't have stayed instead of going to his next season. And he suffered for it. That's the lesson of Jonah. Nothing about religious conversion on that message. The message is, when it's time to go to a different place and you feel it in your spirit, you go. Here's my boy Kingfish. Florida's in the building. I love Florida, but in the winter. I want to see what he's saying here. Kingfish. I looked at getting a Transit. This is interesting now, but I am leaning towards a minivan. I like windows and it seems stealthier. Kingfish, great comment. So I like Kingfish's comment here. Why? Because yes, so that's the trade-off. I made a very early video talking about every decision you make in life is trade-offs. You're trading one thing for another. So a Transit doesn't have many windows other than the front. Now, you can get a Transit with back windows, but that would be it, just in the very back. So it sounds like Kingfish wants full side windows and back. Now, the value of that is you allow more sunlight in, and that could be better. If that's your personality, I think that'd be wisdom. Now, just before Dawn lives in Georgia. He is a minivan, Toyota Sienna. So I respect that. Now, the only downside is that then, yes, you have to have window covers, and but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's just a difference. But I can understand that especially I think windows are more important, even more so if you spend a good, as you get older, and if you're going to spend more time in your car, because you want that sunlight, you want that vitamin D, especially in Florida. Now, the downside too, though, Kingfish, about Florida is that the more windows you have, the more heat you're going to let in. So if you're going to live full time in Florida, see, I don't know if you live the summers. Kingfish, do you live the summers in Florida? If you're going to live full time in Florida, the more windows you have, the more heat you're going to let in, the more light. And we all know, like Florida sun, like when it's the height of the season, like that could be treacherous. And unless you're going to fully tint them all out, that'd be interesting. I don't know. But either way, I can understand that perspective, because I had a comment. I had a comment from somebody else in the beginning too of one of the live feeds that they said that they didn't like the Transit because, yes, they also wanted windows. They wanted light to come in. So I can appreciate and respect that view. And to some extent, I can understand it's valuable to have light. And I mean, as you see, my Jeep Renegade that I live out of full time, I mean, I have windows all over. The back windows are tinted, and the tail light is tinted. The front aren't tinted because in New Jersey it's not legal to have front tint. Okay, so in Florida you can tint out all your windows, from my understanding. I don't know the grade of tint you're allowed. So again, you need to look up in your state and see how that plays out. Yeah, on a minivan too, with regards to being stealth, a minivan could be more stealth. I mean, in one sense, I feel like the Transit Connect, the Connect is more stealth because, I mean, a lot of whether it doesn't have to be a contract. A lot of people now get Transit Connects, and I see them park everywhere in the street. So I think it would be okay there, but I do understand what you're saying. I understand that. And to circling back, I mean, technology allows you to just be a nomad. I want to share on that for a minute. That, I mean, the ability to do work remotely increases, and that's a benefit to society with technology. The ability to pay your bills online, benefit to technology. Back in the day, you would need a house just to keep a file cabinet in. Just to keep your old tax records, just to keep, you would need a whole section of your closet just for documentation of old photocopies. Now, taking a picture, doing soft copies, etc., you don't need dedicated living space for storage of paper documents. Or there used to be, like, you go to somebody's house and they have a whole closet filled of photograph albums. I mean, now you can store more photos than ever, and they're all digital. You don't need any physical room. So the adaptation of technology and how it allows you to be a nomad, to be mobile, to live with less, to have less square footage, all plays a part in tonight's theme, which Shay asked me to speak on. And, technology allows you to live a more efficient life, a simpler life, but yet you still have all the resources available to you, via technology. Whether, I mean, I mean, not that I co-sign on healthy food, but you can order pizza through your phone. I mean, you can have it delivered to your car. I mean, if you wanted to, I mean, you could do all those different things. I mean, now you can even, which helps senior citizens too, you can order your groceries online. So if you're a senior citizen and you don't have good mobility, you could order groceries and have them delivered to you. That's a huge benefit to society. Because when you're a senior, or when you're disabled, or when you have limitations, you don't want to be totally dependent on other people, because part of self-worth and dignity is you want a level of independence. And technology gives you independence because it allows you to be able to use technology rather than to depend on somebody else to do something for you. So you don't have to bother your child or your friend to come, drop off groceries. If you weren't in a position to do it, you can order it online, and that's a benefit. I think you'll see that too, whether it's robotics or with something else. When caretakers, there'll be a level of technology integrated with caretaking. Because when the seniors get old, having a live-in caretaker, having someone that visits their house daily, that's part of it. And that can be embarrassing, and that can be hurtful to the mind. If you had some type of technology interface or some type of robotic being in your house, and they were able to be your caretaker to give you baths, etc., that would be a huge benefit to society. And it would allow you to keep your dignity, keep your privacy. And I think that's a plus. Okay? So, those are different things related to that topic that, I feel good about. And everything has a pro and con. So you have to be mindful of that. I'm certainly not going to ever say blindly believe in this, even if it's technology. Even as much as I like technology, everything needs checks and balances. And everything in life, like you always hear me talk about, requires critical self-thought. Okay? So you can't get to a point where you're totally dependent on the computer or your phone thinking for you. So yes, I love the aspect that you can Google, you can even press the audio Google. You can say, Google, what does being a nomad mean? And Google will give you the different definition. Or whatever you're researching, but you still have to think for yourself. You still have to define it for yourself. So you will never get to the point where you stop using your brain, but you should use technology as a resource, just like you should use a calculator, just like you should. It just doesn't stop you though from having to think for yourself. Oh, Mano's in the building. Tech is great. Tech, Mano, one is good afternoon, brother. Two is yes, I totally agree with you, and that's kind of been my general theme throughout today. We talked about a variety of things like we always do in our live chat, but that's the heart of my message. Yeah, overall technology is good. So I would agree with that, Mano. How's your day going, man? Anything interesting going on? Man, love and respect to everybody, man. 4:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're pushing forward. We made it through another day. I also want to show love to anybody. I know JPM Lawn Care at times. She checks in when she drives home from work. And a lot of people, especially in the Eastern time zone, are just getting off of work. So I pray for safe travel and mercies for you. Don't rush. That's what I would say. And learning to slow yourself down is wisdom. Okay? Learning not to rush is wisdom. Anything that improves our tech is great, medical, etc. Yeah, I agree with that, Mino. I agree that technology will improve medical enhancements, and it already has, as well as social interaction. It will not replace physical presence. It will not replace certain things, but you're 100% right, and I agree with you, Mino. And, but yeah, love and respect to everybody out there commuting. And anybody on the West Coast, for them, it's still in the afternoon, but they're not in the commuting zone yet. And like my man No Man's Land said too, though, when you live full time in your car or van, your home is everywhere, so the commute isn't as hard. So we go from there and we push forward. Also this time of day, sometimes what you could use technology for is the monitoring of your budget and the monitoring of your food. Let me just read back to the comments. Mano, being online, talking to you is great. Just simply is that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mano. And also, your added voice and your added comments and perspective is great. So thank you and respect to you. And what I was saying is, you can use technology to document, your budget and how much you spend. part of what really helped me understand how much I spend per month is using an app on my iPad to document how much my expenses are, and then running a report off that app. Back in the day, all you had to really document some of your expenses was a checkbook, and if you were going to do a pad and paper, or even an Excel spreadsheet. But even an Excel spreadsheet was harder because you had to input all the formulas. Nowadays, there are applications, an app on your phone, an app on your iPad, that you can just put in what your bill is, and it'll automatically deduct what your balance is in your checking account, saving account, etc. That's a benefit. Same thing with food. I mean, you can document now in different apps. I ate a banana. Okay, here's 100 calories. All right. How many calories have I ate per day? I need 2,000 to maintain my weight. I need 1,500 or lower to lose weight. And, if I'm eating 5,000 calories a day, I'm gaining weight. Okay, I've been on all different sides of those spectrum. But never forget, with the documentation of your food intake or your budget, there is a variable in all those, and that's called emotion. And that's called life. So you can document to the T how much you spend per month, but when you go in the store and you get emotional and you buy something, that can throw your budget off. You can document how much you eat all day, and then at 9 o'clock comes and you eat a bag of gummy bears. Okay? So, and a lot of times people don't put that in their app. So I'm not saying that to shame anyone, because I've done both of those as well. I'm sharing that to say be mindful. Okay? That it's one thing to have a plan on paper or have a plan digitally. It's another thing to be consistent. It's another thing to keep track of everything, the good and bad, and not just hide what you want hidden. So be mindful of that as well. That's what I learned. Mano, Bob Wells has over 100,000 viewers. Yes, I saw Bob Wells' video celebrating 100,000 viewers. And overall, I mean, I'm happy for Bob, because, again, overall, in fair-minded perspective, I think Bob adds a positive voice to the nomad community. Like I said in the past, I respect that he has helped me and others realize that being a nomad is possible and you can do it. Where I tend to disagree, and it's a respectful disagreement, it's not disrespect, is that I get concerned when he starts to use the word tribe, and you should come out to Arizona to get friends, to build a community. You don't need to do that, and you shouldn't have a tribe mentality. You should have a self-thinking, critical mindset mentality. And then also, I get concerned when basically the answer to your problems is sell everything and go on free camping areas and live in a desert or a forest. That's not the answer. I promote, if you want to do that, that is the answer. I'm certainly not against it, but I'm just sharing my perspective. Bob has his perspective, which I respect. I'm sharing mine. For those like-minded like me, my message is be engaged in your life and use all your gifts. Whether that means living in an urban area, staying at a family member's driveway, staying at a Walmart, or being at a campground. But use all your gifts. Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell all your shit and work for minimum wage because you want to live simply. Not the answer. Simplify your stress, but maximize your potential. That's what I preach. Now, some people may disagree with that. Some people want to sell everything and stick their head under the sand. And you will see that in the people that surround Bob to some extent. Okay? So now, but to be fair and not disrespectful, a lot of those people are retired. They're in a different season of their life. So they have, so that's what you have to be mindful of too, whether you're listening to my perspective, Bob's, or anyone else's, that everything is relative to who you are, which season of life you're in, and what you want out of life. I am not 100% right for everybody. Bob is not 100% right for everybody. Nomadic Fanatic is not 100% right for everybody. But each of those people and more can still be inspiration, can still be positive. But I get concerned when I see a lot of people playing off your emotions. Not Bob, but a lot of people that surround Bob. You got to watch the people that surround a person, because that defines that person. That shows what type of mindset they have, okay? A lot of people that surround Bob, they pander with different donation accounts, and they play off people's emotions and they don't give anything positive other than a view of them driving their van. I don't like that. Or other than a view of, oh, I've been camping here for a month and I didn't realize you couldn't camp here. Somebody must have basically took a chainsaw and chopped down the no camping sign. Okay? So I'm a little bit suspect on that mindset. But I respect Bob. I'm happy for Bob. I hope Bob gets 100 million viewers, and I hope he continues to be a positive voice in the community, just like I do for Nomadic Fanatic and everyone else. I don't want everyone to be me, and I don't want to be everyone, and I don't want you to blindly follow everyone. I want you to take the pieces of inspiration you can get from different people. Then I want you to build your own life based on you, okay? And you can do that while still respecting everybody and at times disagreeing with people. That's part of life, Yeah, Bob likes to be alone, and I'm with that guy. Yes, Bob likes to be alone, and Bob is in retirement age, but Bob is also somebody, at least from one of the videos I watched, he's on disability. He collects he collects physical disability checks from an injury he got in his arm, and yet he physically does van build outs. So, I don't know. Should you be on disability but have the physical capacity to do a van build out and hold conventions every winter? You tell me. Okay? So, God bless. Yes, and Kingfish, I agree. We all need to follow our own path. Thank you, Kingfish. Thank you for checking in, man. I get inspired when I see you check in. Yeah, Kingfish is right. Kingfish is checking in from Florida, and he has his own way of carving out his own life. All right, because uh, I got you, Mano, but I want to address Kingfish. Kingfish is right. Kingfish is carving out his own life, and what I would say is that like Linda, she doesn't want to live full time in her van in Florida. Kingfish does. So you have to respect that everyone has a different way of doing things, and it doesn't make one way wrong or one way right. Build up the confidence and know your situation. No one knows your situation better than you. Build your life around you, as long as you are not hurting anyone. Mano asks, how much money can you make with 100K viewers? Well, Bob Wells has 100K subscribers. Subscribers do not necessarily affect how much money you can make. Viewership does, how many views your videos get. And I know that's why several times he's replayed same videos. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have anywhere near that. And I know he doesn't have a full-time job, so I'm sure he depends on his physical disability and anything he can get from, if he still collects that. That's one video I saw him about a year ago making that's basically his income stream, at least at that time, because his channel is only a year old. Before that, he was with another guy, and then they had a disagreement fallout, like he stated in his 100K viewership, and then he started his own channel. So about a year ago, before his channel took off, his main source of income was was disability checks. From what he shared on one video, that's based on what I saw. So now, how much does he make a year later with 100K subscribers? Depends on how many videos he has a lot of views on. And then I don't know. I mean, I guess you can make anywhere from nothing to thousands of dollars per month, based on how much viewership you get. And I hope he does. I hope everyone is successful. And I think Bob has earned that. So that's where I would agree with Bob. I think that Bob has videos that are sometimes informational. I think now he's milking it. Honestly, in my opinion. How many times can you look at somebody's van build out? How many times can you watch someone dump water on themselves in the desert and say, this is how you shower? So I think Bob has earned his spot. I think he's a positive person. But I think Bob and other people start to pander and milk it because now they've depended on that income. Just like Nomadic Fanatic. I mean, he moves around a lot. And now at times you can see, like, I don't think he moves around a lot now because he wants to, but because he has to. If Nomadic Fanatic parks his RV in Oregon and stays there all year round and stays at the same campground, nobody's going to watch his channel. So now he has to. If a hot, girl I used to watch is when I first started watching Hobo Alley. She's a hot, young girl from Texas. I'm not hating on, but at some point, if they don't pander, if they don't only talk about the nomad life, then they have no money. And if that's their main source of income, that's why I'm saying If you want to use YouTube, you want to do videos for a purpose of creativity and inspiration, that's one thing. And you want to make money doing it, that's fine. But if that's your sole income stream, you will be tempted to make videos not on your pure inspiration, not on pure instruction, but you will make videos based on pandering, because that is the way you make money. And once, even if you live in your car, you get used to making a certain amount of money per day. Like I said, how I'm on my own business, what I learned is you can't depend on always making. So if he can make $2,000 a month with 100K subscribers, he doesn't make that every month. If God forbid, like, you know what I mean, something changes or he doesn't have any new material or whatever, there's no guarantee. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of people that are hot one day and not the next. So what happens though, in order to sustain that, let's say $2,000 a month, he has to make videos, he has to give people what they want. And when you're solely basing on giving people what they want, at times, in my experience, and I saw this in the church world, you will have to emotionally manipulate people, because you depend on their attention. Without their attention, you don't get money. Okay? So whether it means you're fearing them, that the end times are coming, you need this church to be spiritually built up, or, you need this video to teach you how to live out of a van. My message is you need yourself. And sometime you may need to start your own YouTube channel. Okay? Football Boots Review. What's up, brother? Love and respect. Also, UK checking in. Football Boots Review also gave a great recommendation on my video about a portable charger for your phone. He recommended something from Argos, which I believe is like a UK shopping place, and maybe like an Amazon.com, but of the UK. And he recommended, I checked on the link, it was actually like an Energizer portable charger. It was only $20, and it was a lot more capacity than a $5 one I showed you that I bought in Walmart. So thank you, Football Boots Review, for adding your voice to the community and adding some information. And that's the value. And that's the value that other YouTubers and when you add your voice and you're part of a community, there is value there. And so that's why, again, I say, no worries, thumbs up to you as well. Again, I want to bring it back that there is respect to Bob Wells. There's respect to Nomadic Fanatic. There's respect to everybody. Spiritual teachers that are online, science teachers that are online, any YouTube channel, anybody. I mean, I have respect for anyone that's sharing their voice and adding. Where, like I said, the only people I really have a problem with, I'm just respectfully disagreeing. The only people I have a problem with are, I don't even like to call them, but the quote-unquote troll sites, where their whole purpose of life is to gossip and slander rather than to add. So I respect Bob because Bob adds. Bob's not a slanderer. I mean, I've watched his videos. So, again, in context of what I'm saying, I'm just sharing my perspective on him and that. But I believe, to circle back to the topic of this conversation, Bob is one of the people that does use technology for the overall benefit of society, in addition to himself, but everyone does that. Everyone uses it, including myself, for their own benefit. So anyone tells you different, they'd be disingenuous. It's a level of how much and for what purpose. So, you have to use your own discernment, and like I always say, you have to think for yourself, okay? You have to, I like to deal with people that want to build you up to get you to the point where you are confident enough to go do your own thing. Not that you have to follow them around, okay? If you have to follow someone around, you're never going to grow into the best person you have to be. A leader's job is to build you up, to send you out, not to keep you on the hook. Shay from the UK, this whole video is for you based on your great recommendation. If anyone has a live topic they would like to discuss, please leave a comment on one of my videos, or once this video is over and saved, you leave a comment on there. Shay, love and respect to you. Thank you for the great suggestion on this topic, technology. Is it good or bad for society? I addressed it real heavy in the beginning, and of course now we're in kind of like our freestyle session. Shay says, how can Bob Wells can live in a desert with that big beard of his? It makes me feel so hot looking at him. Lots want him to get his hair cut, and he doesn't, so he's not giving everyone what they want. Laugh out loud. Yes, and it's good to bring levity or laughter to the situation. Shay's right. And, Bob shouldn't have to cut his beard or anything else, and he should be able to live his life based on what he wants. Again, I agree with you, Shay, and it is good to laugh. And again, I want to state that, I see him as a respectful person. I haven't seen him really disrespect anybody. So, you know what I mean? There's no reason to hate on Bob. It's just, but I have to think for myself. I have to, also, be my own person, okay? And that's what I want you to be. I don't want you to be part of a tribe. I want you to be part of yourself. I want you to be part of a community, but you can build a community, especially as Shay mentioned, is technology good or bad? You can build your community with anyone, anywhere, at any time. It's a matter of your mindset. And the first part about being part of a healthy community is you yourself working on yourself. Because if you're not in a healthy mind, if you're not taking the daily steps to being the better you, you're not going to add to that society. You're going to take away. You're going to leave a comment that says, go fuck off. Okay? You're not, I don't care if you're a follower of Bob Wells or follower of me or follower of, anybody, Joel Osteen, Cruffle. If you have a mindset of you aren't working on yourself, community is of no value. Okay? Community becomes of value when it is about building up people and getting them to believe in themselves. And again, I do think Bob and different people do that to a certain extent. I'm just sharing mine. That being said, enough about Bob. I don't want to spend too much time because it's not about Bob. It's about you. It's about pushing forward. It's 4:51 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. Shay, what time is it in the U.K.? What's the temperature? And how was your day, Shay? Anyone else? We're getting about 9 minutes left in the live feed. So if anyone else has anything they want to talk about, share in a positive, respectful tone, please feel free to leave a comment. If not, Shay's going to tell me what the temperature's like in the UK. We're going to finish up strong. And we're going to be thankful and push forward. That's the mind. 21:51 p.m. Okay, so you're giving me military time. Got you. I believe that's what that is. Yep. And 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you for doing a conversion. Can you tell when people are doing videos just for the money? You can discern it sometimes, and sometimes you can't. We are not always right, and we are not always wrong. But I think there is a level of seeing through bullshit, but also I want to be fair that if you're dealing with a negative person, they can say that anything you're doing is for the wrong reason. So that's why I say I don't want to attack where it says that every video or this video is wrong. And, you have to use your own discernment, and you have to realize that someone that doesn't like you, they're going to say every video is disingenuous. So, it's not about that. I'm just trying to address the overall mindset in life, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you work in the workforce. It's, whether you're a news media, and Trend News just checked in, respect and love you. I'm about to read your comment in a minute. That's what happened with the news media. They got away from doing research on actual issues and reporting them. And they started to pander to political sides based on drama that will get people emotionally excited. So, it happens in society. Anything in a business world, on TV, on YouTube, when you are not living below your means, when you're living above your means, and when you are financially dependent on something, there is room for you to do things disingenuous. Now, certainly, I am not saying that everything is disingenuous because, we don't know what's in each other's heart. I want to say that, period. So I want everyone to do them. And I can't control that. What I can say is I don't watch videos. If I don't feel right, then I don't watch the video. Example, there is a pastor that I listen to every night. It's like a live feed, so on Periscope. And I just listen to it in my earbuds and I put the thing down. The other night, he was basically talking about sexual allegations against certain people, in the political field, etc. And he was basically shaming the people that made the allegations because he was saying he had his own sexual things in the past. And I didn't like how it felt in my spirit when I heard this man talk. Felt like he was trying to cover up for people and cover up for himself. Okay? Using the Bible, which is the first piece of technology in one sense, and not just the Bible, any written word. Science, medical, spiritual, the written word was the first way to pass on information from generation to generation. And even the written word was manipulated. Okay, the Catholic Church decided what books went in the Bible and what books didn't. Certain scientific studies certain scientists agree with them and refer to certain scientific studies, and then other scientists that disagree with that study, they refer to a different study that, attack that study. So it's all relative. The search for truth is endless. But what I will tell you is, use your own personal discernment, and if it doesn't feel right in your spirit, then don't subscribe to it. And that's different for everyone. Like, I still watch different people that other people don't watch. So, but I discern everything that person says, and I keep what I feel is good, and I let go of what is bad. Okay, Trey News. How are you, brother? How are you? Hey, Sam, listened to you live show yesterday. Got to admit it was pretty good. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Trey News. Like what you said, listen to the message and make your own assessment. Yes. Too many people pay attention to the person. Trend News, thank you. And I know that there is something in Trend News that has a passion for the news and for social events because of his title. And Trend News has added great balance to this channel as part of his voice in the community, thinking for himself and being himself. Because from my communication with him, at least, he's not really centered around the nomad life or different things, but I appreciate his take on life, and I am thankful for the balance of perspective and what he brings to the table, no doubt. Shay, I hope you're not growing your beard to epic proportions. No, what I do in the winter, obviously, in New Jersey, it's a little bit colder. I grow it out a little bit. So it'll grow a little bit more, but it'll only get to a certain point, and then I trim it up. So maybe a little bit thicker than this, and then that's the max. Because then once it gets thicker than this, then it starts to be like not like a firm and structured. It starts to be like wiggly things, and I don't like that. So it'll grow a little bit more, but not too much. And then once in a while, I just trim it down to keep it neat, and then I let it grow. But if anyone out there uses barber clippers, I don't let it get past the barber clipper accessory number 3. My normal barber clipper accessory is the number 2, and that's the grade of the length of the hair. If you're interested, okay. Trend News, love and respect. Mano, he bites his own tail. He bit his own tail. Okay, I don't know what that one means. I have to go back. But thank you, man. Thank you, Shay, for the recommendation again on today's topic. Is technology helpful or harmful to society? I mean, I addressed it mainly in the first half hour, and then we got into a freestyle session like I like to do with the live sessions, and let you voice your perspective and let you share your comments. And like I was saying, Shay, too, what I heard from your comment and your recommendation for this topic is you can hear my perspective, you can hear the community list their comments, but you can't fully express yours. And early on in the video, I was saying, I appreciate what you're saying, and I hear that. So it may get to a point where you need to start your own YouTube channel, or you need to use technology in some way where you're able to more express yourself. And that is my end goal. As a leader, as someone positive, my goal and my job is to build you up to be you and to go out and to carve your own spot. Not to be my subscriber for life, not to watch my videos for life. I want you to go out there and be you, because Shay, you have something to add, and I would support you, and I do support you growing, and I support everyone on this channel growing, not following me around forever. I don't want that, because I would be doing that at your harm and my harm, because I don't feel good, trying to keep people on the hook. It's not my thing. I mean, I'm trying to say it very, Shay, I am thinking of that. You should. And, anything you do in life, if you start your own YouTube channel, whatever, you start your own church, you start your own science study, you start your own news broadcast, whatever you do is going to be awkward in the beginning. You're going to fail. You're going to look stupid. People are going to mock and laugh you. But guess what? Keep doing it. Refine yourself. There's going to be things. There's certain times I look at videos and say, I should have did this better. I shouldn't have said this. That's part of life. It's part of life. And even in this live video, I'm sure there's going to be certain things that I say, wow, I wish I would have, said this better. You're never going to be perfect. One live stream I did was, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. Document now, refine as you go. And, along that journey, if you need to apologize, along that journey, if you need to self-correct, and be humble enough to do it. But don't lose your confidence to the point where you stop being you and you stop growing. Part of growing is putting yourself out there and sometimes looking like an ass. Okay? That's part of it. No way around it. I don't care how many degrees you get. It will never be a substitute for going out there and fucking up. Never. All right. Kingfish. To me, it's about personal freedom. I love below my means as empowering. Yes. I I even named my Mazda 2 build Freebird. Great nickname. And I want to close on that sentiment that Kingfish made as it's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is living below your means is one of the foundational principles of being able to empower yourself. You are empowering yourself financially to have more options to do more things with your life. Living out of your car is not for everyone. I do believe that living simply is for everyone and living an efficient, downsized life is for everyone. Because when you are not slave to the almighty dollar, now all of us need an income, all of us need to work, all of us need to have some type of stream of income if we physically and mentally can. I realize that in society, some people physically and mentally can't work, and I feel we should take care of those people. But for the majority of people that can physically and mentally do for themselves, they need to. But they need to do so in a way where they live simply enough where they're not overstretching themselves. Because when you overstretch yourself, you will compromise your integrity and you will not be yourself. You will be someone else solely for the dollar bill. And I even got seduced there myself at times as far as living above my means and living in debt. And you will see an injustice at the job site and you can't speak up. Why can't you speak up? Because you can't miss a paycheck. You will hear hypocrisy and you can't respectfully disagree. Why? Because you can't afford for someone not to like you. And I fully agree with that. And I thank you, Kingfish, for sharing that. And Freebird is a good nickname. Thank you, Shay, for the recommendation tonight on this topic. If anyone has a recommendation, please leave it in the comments. Respect and love to everyone, even the people I disagree with, but have healthy boundaries. Say no. And if someone says if someone verbally abuses you or physically abuses you, document and escalate. All right, that's my closing note. Stay inspired.